Welcome back to our quiet journey. We move now from the deep silence of the desert to the chilling shadows of the northern forests and foggy seas. Settle softly now, letting the warm memory of the desert night gently fade. Tonight, we seek the remnants of civilization at the very edge of the known world, where the ambition of empire met the vast, untamed wilderness. The air here is colder damp, carrying the scent of pine needles, wet earth, and ancient, unyielding stone. While we get ready to embark on this voyage, tell me which part of the world you are tuning in from. Is it summer or winter at home? It is good to know how far and wide my stories travel. You can let me know you heard me. Just drop a line. We travel first to the far, chilly reach of the Roman Empire, to the northern frontier of Britannia, a place where a powerful, ordered civilization finally drew a line in the mud, declaring, "Beyond this point, we will not go." This line is Hadrian's Wall, and our myth is not of a forgotten city, but of the lost legion, the legendary ninth, the Legio IX Hispania, a ghost of military history that haunts the Scottish borderlands. Imagine standing here, in the year 122 C. The sky is a vast, heavy gray, perpetually threatening rain. You are wearing a thick, damp woolen cloak, and the only sound is the persistent, whistling wind carrying sleet across the open moor. Before you rises the great stone wall, 15 feet high and 73 miles long, stretching from coast to coast, an impossible, defiant boundary against the mists of the north. The wall was a symbol of Roman order, a vast, complex machine of watchtowers, mile castles, and larger forts, designed not just to keep out the fierce, painted tribes of the Picts and Caledonians, but to project an image of power and permanence. You can hear the low, monotonous rhythm of the Roman sentries walking the ramparts, their heavy, hobnailed boots, the caligae, crunching on the gravel. The Ninth Legion, the Legio IX Hispania, was an old, storied, and often unlucky unit. They had fought for Julius Caesar, suffered heavy losses in the Boudiccan revolt, and by the early 2nd century, they were stationed in the north of England, likely based at the fortress of Eboracum, modern York. They were the sharp, weary tip of Rome's military might, their eagles, the sacred standard, flanked by veteran soldiers from across the vast empire. Then, sometime after 108 CE, the Ninth Legion disappears from the official Roman historical record in Britannia. Poof, gone, vanished. The only certainty is that by the time Hadrian's Wall was being built in the 120 CE, the Ninth was no longer listed among the legions garrisoned there. They had been replaced. This factual gap, this quiet omission in the usually meticulous Roman ledgers, gave birth to the powerful, enduring myth. The story, romanticized by later novelists and historians, suggests a terrifying, dramatic end. Imagine the entire legion, perhaps 5,000 men, marching north of the wall, deep into the frightening, tangled forests and heather-covered hills of Caledonia, lured by a false promise, or perhaps pursuing a seemingly scattered, broken enemy. You are marching with them now. The sun is suddenly gone, swallowed by the dense canopy overhead. The forest floor is soft and treacherous with mud and decaying leaves. You can smell the damp earth and the cold fear. There are no clear roads here, only twisting tracks that seem to lead nowhere. The silence is heavy, oppressive, broken only by the nervous clatter of shields and the strained breathing of the men. The myth holds that they were ambushed, cornered by a massive, unseen host of native warriors who emerged like ghosts from the mist and the trees. Cut off from all supply lines, their armor and discipline useless in the chaotic tangle of the woods, the entire legion was supposedly annihilated. The eagle lost, all 5,000 men becoming a chilling sacrifice to the vengeful, untamed spirit of the northern lands. This tale of a legion simply swallowed by the wilderness speaks to the deep-seated Roman fear of the uncivilized frontier, the terrifying realization that even their immense, organized power had limits, that the forest itself could be an enemy. The quiet historical truth, however, is far more subtle and perhaps even more melancholy. While the ninth certainly vanishes from Britain, its name continues to appear on Roman rosters and inscriptions in places like Nijmegen, Germany, and later, possibly even in the East. The most likely, historically sound explanation is not a dramatic, bloody massacre, but a quiet, administrative redeployment after heavy losses in Britannia. Perhaps during a large, undocumented uprising, the weakened Ninth was simply recalled, broken up, its remaining men merged into other units, and its name gradually allowed to fade away from the rolls. The eagle was not lost in a final, glorious battle. It was probably packed in a crate and shipped to another, less glamorous frontier, an unsung, quiet end to a once great unit. Yet, the myth of the sudden vanishing, the entire army lost to the fog and the fury of the Picts, that is the story that endures. It is a tale not about historical fact, but about the psychological boundary, the quiet dread that haunted the Romans every time they looked north, beyond the comfort of their mighty stone wall. Let the cold wind of the frontier settle into your bones. Listen to the soft, rhythmic sound of the unseen rain beginning to fall. Now we drift south and west, across the swirling, cold waters of the Atlantic, toward the legends of Saint Brendan the Navigator and his mystical journey to the Promised Land. Our focus shifts from the cold precision of Roman records to the warm, devotional passion of the early Christian monks. The Navigatio Sancti Brendani, written perhaps in the 9th or 10th century, tells the astonishing tale of the Irish abbot Brendan and his small band of monks, who set sail in a fragile, leather-hulled boat, a currach, to search for the fabled Isle of the Blessed, a paradise hidden somewhere far beyond the known western horizon. Imagine the gentle sway of the small boat, the rhythmic, hypnotic slap-slap of the waves against the tanned leather hull. The air is vast and clean, smelling of deep, cold ocean and the simple, oily sheepskin used to waterproof the vessel. The monks are chanting softly, a continuous, low murmur that blends with the sound of the sea. They are sustained not by navigation, but by unshakable faith. The tale describes 7 years of incredible voyages, encountering monstrous sea beasts, passing through an island of fire, perhaps a volcano in the Azores, finding an island of singing birds, and even celebrating Easter Mass on the back of a huge, gentle sea creature, the great whale Jasconius. Eventually, they reach the promised land of the saints, a beautiful, luminous island where the sun always shines. For centuries, this narrative was treated as a devotional allegory, a beautiful, pious tale of faith over fear, a mythical journey with no geographical basis. But in the 1970s, a quiet, world-weary scholar and adventurer named Tim Severin decided to test the myth using historical reality. He asked a simple, powerful question. Could they have done it? Severin built a currach of leather over an ash frame, using only the materials and methods available to the 6th century monks. The boat, named Brendan, was 50 feet long, and the small crew set sail from Ireland, following the faint geographical clues hidden within the ancient text. Look now at the currach on the vast, indifferent ocean. The boat is incredibly light, resilient, and virtually unsinkable. The leather, when soaked in lanolin and tallow, provides a surprisingly flexible, shock-absorbing hull, ideal for the immense forces of the open Atlantic. Severin's journey, slowly, methodically, proved that not only was the journey possible, but that the monks, following the deep, persistent currents and prevailing winds, would have likely reached the shores of Newfoundland or Labrador. They would have been the first Europeans to reach North America, nearly 900 years before the Vikings. And the magical, mythical creatures, the islands of fire, the whale, the myth, filtered through the spiritual lens of the monks, was a surprisingly accurate maritime record. The island of fire was almost certainly Iceland, or one of the volcanic islands like the Azores or Madeira. The sea monsters, Severin encountered them. Great, gentle, slow-moving humpback whales that would rise close to the small boat. The sheer size, viewed from a fragile currach, would have certainly justified the legend of a monster. And the Isle of the Blessed, Severin reached a rocky, fertile coastline in Newfoundland, a place that, after weeks and months on the barren, endless ocean, would have absolutely appeared to be a miraculous paradise. The truth is quiet and profoundly moving. The monks weren't inventing a route. They were following a deep, ancestral knowledge of the North Atlantic currents. The Navigatio is not a fantasy travelogue. It is a spiritualized seaman's log, a record of a real, epic voyage of exploration, disguised as a tale of divine faith. The enduring myth is simply the preservation of a real, almost unbelievable feat of seamanship. We close our eyes on the cold spray of the Atlantic now, the rhythmic, low chant of the monks receding into the vast silence. The true history of the Lost Legion is one of quiet deployment. The true history of Saint Brendan is one of quiet courage. In both cases, the myths serve to remind us of the immense boundaries, both physical and spiritual, that our ancestors struggled to define and cross. The stillness of the night is absolute now. Let the cool, damp air of the northern climes gently embrace you. Feel the quiet, deep satisfaction of a long journey complete. We have stood on the edge of the Roman world, where the great stone wall marked the end of the known, and we have drifted on the endless, powerful current of the Atlantic, where faith and skill opened up a new world. Your body is relaxing now, letting go of all resistance. Feel the weight of your head sinking into the pillow, the slow, rhythmic beat of your own heart echoing the soft, steady rhythm of the sea. You are safe, entirely supported. Recall the stone of Hadrian's wall, smooth and cold beneath the rain. It is a comforting image of permanence, of boundaries clearly drawn. Let this image help you define the boundaries of your own quiet space tonight, keeping all hurried thoughts outside, allowing only calm and stillness to remain within. The quiet historical truth of the lost Ninth Legion teaches us that not every ending is a spectacular battle. Sometimes the greatest dramas resolve with a quiet, administrative dissolution, a slow fade. There's immense peace in accepting the gentle, inevitable flow of time, the quiet unraveling of things that must pass. And remember the sight of the small, resilient leather boat, currach, dancing lightly over the massive, indifferent waves of the North Atlantic. It is a testament to the power of quiet persistence, to the enduring strength found in simplicity and faith. Even the greatest journeys are accomplished one slow, rhythmic stroke at a time. Let your breathing become slow and deep, guiding you down, toward a state of complete rest. Inhale slowly, drawing in the calm. Exhale fully, releasing any lingering tension or thought. The cold sea is still. The northern frontier sleeps beneath the heavy mist. You are drifting now, peaceful, surrounded by the gentle, world-weary whispers of history. The myths have served their purpose, guiding us to the truth. And now they guide you to a profound, restorative sleep. Trust the stillness. Let the current carry you. Good night. Sleep well. If you have made it this far into the narration, I applaud you for your patience and interest in the varied myths and legends from an era gone by. It is not often that anyone tunes into this broadcast. When they do, it is rare for me to find out that they did. I get on the radio twice a week, more to retain some connection with the human element in the world. If you did listen to me, do leave some sign that you did. If you feel that there are others that might turn in, those that might enjoy this sleepy narrator's ramblings, do point them in this direction, to this frequency. Remember, Tuesdays and Fridays. Save the frequency. Write it down, or whatever lets you know when a new broadcast is starting. Good night, friend from afar.